This presentation will explore two shifts in my thinking, reflect on my practice and consider future challenges. I will focus on the impact and potential of collaboration with teachers and with Arkonga. Throughout this course, I've been frequently excited by the way in which my academic study has complemented the action and reflection that took place in my day-to-day role as a cross-school leader. My ability to align research to practice in our cross-school lead spiral of inquiry and theory for improvement has been both an affirmation of what we're doing in our kahuiako and has also been valuable as a provocation and catalyst to change. One of the 5 drivers for our kahuiako is collective teacher efficacy and another is learner agency. This semester I've gained both theoretical knowledge and practical experience, growing my own leadership and understanding of the importance of relational trust between colleagues and the potential of school leadership teams to create a genuine, exciting and empowering culture of collaboration. A voyage into uncharted waters is exciting, but also daunting. So the strength of leadership and of our belief in our collective efficacy is important. We must stay focused on the destination, paddling together. We must see ourselves as an integral part of the vision and values of an institution. Nowhere is this shared sense of trust and focus on the horizon more important than in a kahuiako. For me, this year has mostly been about working alongside school leaders to develop a deep understanding of the relationships, systems and strengths in and between each school. This course has enabled me to understand the potential of working collaboratively to solve problems of practice, to understand aspects of school culture that support working collaboratively, in particular, relational trust and leadership. The spiral of inquiry is a framework for unpacking teacher beliefs, for causing critical thinking and for change. The paper argues for a sea change in learning settings for young people and discusses the importance of creating the right conditions. I believe an important aspect of our cross-school leadership is learning alongside and amongst the teams and modelling the process of collaboration and inquiry. Reflecting on my learning in this paper, I believe we've come a long way in 9 months, from cooperating to collaborating in our cross-school team as well as in our work with the different schools. For example, we each started off on our own leadership inquiry. We shared readings with each other and discussed our practice, but we were not working together on a shared goal or on the stages of the spiral. It took time, trust, honesty and reflection for each of us to come to the understanding that what was needed was to collaborate on a theory of improvement. This was a real aha moment that came for me on this course and came to another cross-school leader. She'd been reading similar literature. We have been able to take this learning and apply it within our other teams too. We've supported schools to shift from individual, isolated teaching as inquiry projects to professional learning communities focused around an aspect of school structure or a common problem of practice in the kahuiako. Moving forward, we will make more use of the Ministry's Development Map tool, which has been designed to support the development of collaborative practice in communities of learning. The tool has valuable reflective questions that we've started to use with the leadership group and will use to gauge impact with within school leads. We will also use it to develop our own goals and our next iteration of our cross-school lead collaborative inquiry. I liked how Kay entitled 1 week's module as leaning into the mess of learning collaboratively. Much like the spiral of inquiry isn't linear or perfectly cyclical, collaboration can evolve, can be challenging and complex. I've also experienced in various teams the relational and emotional nature of learning together and have understood the importance of honesty and vulnerability. Teachers turn to each other within these communities for advice and coaching, and it is the power of that collaborative group not only to inquire together, but as a support network. No one is on their own. This semester, I have had the privilege of being able to gather voice from Arkonga. In one primary school, this involves speaking to every one of the 80 Māori learners from Year 1 to Year 8 to hear from them directly about their experiences of learning at their school and what success means to them and their whānau. This rich data reveals some causes for celebration and for concern. In my role, I had to reflect on how best to present this to the leadership team. In this case, I'd built enough relational trust with the school to ask how raw they wanted us to be. We presented a summary of our findings and direct quotations from the voices of the Arkonga. We then took the within-school leads, DPs and principal through a reflective and evaluative rosebud thorn process in order to examine the trends and the school's next steps. We discussed the power of learner narratives, as we see in Berryman and Bishop's Culture Speaks. They have asked us to make a video of the learners, which can then be shared with their wider staff for reflection. This is just one example of a catalyst for deeper reflection from the theory which complemented what was happening in practice. At the same time as I was gathering this Akonga voice and completing my paper about the equity challenge, we met with a deputy principal from a neighbouring Kahuiako, who is on secondment to the ministry with a focus on learner agency. I was inspired by her story about a group of Māori learners from her school leading events for other students and for the wider community. Listening to the voices impacted by inequity is so vital in order to address the imbalance of power. I have recommended that we start making the space for an Akonga-led council or committee, which is given the self-determination and agency to look at data, share their voices widely, and to examine the white spaces within our 10 schools. This initiative might take the form of an achievement challenge being wholly Akonga-driven. It might also show itself in student representation on various working groups. I would like to see a student-led audit of how well we're addressing equity and enacting the intent of the treaty partnership, much like Anne Milne's Warrior Researchers. We've already hosted a student-facilitated leadership summit in our Kahuiako just a few weeks ago, in which 50 students, representing 1% of our Kahuiako, from across the 10 schools built for Nangatanga, collaborated on their formula for success, and also wrote a waiata collaboratively, which will be taught to the teachers on our next Kahuiako-wide teacher-only day. The social nature of learning is so important, for our Akonga as well as for our teachers. We need to collectively work on our vision to have true collaboration. To return to the metaphor of the waka, when making decisions about our practice as a Kahuiako, which direction to go, we must inquire more, collaboratively of course, use the research, and keep returning to our shared values, our vision, and the agreed drivers to guide us.